The girl. I know her. Is this some kind of ruse?
Me? You're mistaken. We've never met.
Whatever illusions you've spun, you won't break my resolve. Not even with such a cruel trick. My lady charged me to stop you, and I will not fail.
The town is ours. They're fleeing into the woods in total disarray.
What about Rajani? You saw how she fights. She calls fire at will, and her eyes, they're like mine.
Who are you, girl? You look like someone I knew. You speak with her voice. But that woman is dead and gone.
Anjali is one of us. A child of the Legion, like me.
My friend speaks the truth, Rajani. Whoever you think I am, you're wrong.
Or perhaps you're a false prophet meant to lead me astray. If you fight for the Legion, you're an enemy. Nothing more.
You weren't acting alone. Who sent you to attack us?
You know her name. She defeated the Legion once, and she'll defeat you again.
Jeyne Cassinda, the old enemy. 30 years on and she's still hunting the Legion.
And why should she not? You're traitors, kingslayers, murderers.
Kingslayers? Murderers? What does she mean?
Lies. Stories that the old king was murdered by the Legion. That's how Jeyne Cassinda turned the people against us. She claimed that the Legion betrayed its oath, tried to seize power for itself.
They're not lies. My lady spoke the truth. But believe what you want.
How can we be a threat to you? We don't even know who you are.
She's an Archon! I know it sounds mad, but look at her. Just like the stories, only she's real.
What do these stories say about Archons?
They were divine messengers, heralds of the old creator gods. You see their pictures in books. Statues of them are supposed to bring luck.
We have to decide what to do with her. Suggestions?
She attacked a defenseless town, murdered your friends at the estate. Why are we discussing this? Kill her and let justice be done.
Wait. Listen to her words. She's misguided, confused. She fears us. Killing her wouldn't be justice. She's yielded. What if we set her free? Show Jeyne Cassinda that the Legion still has honor.
Rajani, you're free to go. We're not your enemies, and we never were.
You're mad. Now my lady will know your strength. Next time she'll send more of us against you. But if that's what you want, then I'll go.
I agree with the armored wench. You are mad, both of you, stark and raving.
No. We planted a seed. Now we wait and see how it grows. Come. We should return to the chapter house and decide our next move. Unless you still have business here.
I'm ready. Our business here is done.
Against the might of the 10th Legion, even the Archon Rajani could not stand. Jeyne Cassinda's lieutenant was vanquished, her mercenaries' hold on the Rukenval broken. In times past, the Legion's judgment was merciful and fair, and you chose to spare her life. Who can say how an unexpected mercy might change an enemy's heart?
Hold your peace. My lady Jeyne Cassinda calls Parlay.
Lower your weapons. We've come here to talk. I would know who leads my enemy's army. Tell me, why is your face so familiar? Are you the child of some lord that I've slain?
My father was Hugh Montbaron, Grand Master of the Legion. You murdered him in the Mornweald.
My lady, he was one of the Legionnaires in Ravensrill. My life was spared by his word.
Mercy from the Legion? I find that hard to believe. Unless it was some kind of ploy. Violence has always been the Legion's way. Ever since Hugh Montbaron murdered the old king. Did you plan the same for little Queen Mouse?
The Queen doesn't believe your lies. She trusts the Legion.
Then she is a stupid, sheltered little girl who lays her neck between the jaws of a lion. She doesn't know the Legion as I do. The old king. The man your Legion sought to murder and displace. He was my father.
And your mother? Who was she?
An Archon, one of the last of her kind, granted shelter and solace by my father, the king.
You say your mother was an Archon? A creature out of myth?
She came to this world with her sisters, seeking the lost gods they once served. Archons are not so strange to you. You fought my handmaid in Raven's Rill, and you spared her life. Whatever your reason, that was more of a kindness than you know. My mother's people are precious and few.
If your father was the old king, then you and Rosalind are family.
By blood, Rosalind is my niece. But I will never call her kin. Her family stood by, content to watch, while I destroyed the Legion and avenged our father. Only then did they turn against me. They raised an army to put me in chains. A mistake, they'd tell you. If they were not all dead.
If the royal family turned against you, they must have had good reason.
Good reason. Only if you count jealousy and fear. People had begun to whisper that the king had been my father. They were rumors, nothing more. But they worried the rightful heirs. I had no designs upon the throne. Not then. But neither would I go quietly to the noose. They created the very monster they feared.
Rosalind said nothing of this to me. Does she know that she's your niece?
Perhaps she doesn't know, if her family kept it from her. What better way to let a shameful secret die?
Rosalind had no part in any of this, so why fight her?
Because Rosalind is weak. She could never rebuild this nation alone. She'll be forced to rely upon others, like your Legion. And you will have power over her. But that is what you want, is it not? I have no need to make such bargains. I am strong enough to rebuild my father's kingdom on my own. And greater powers, not of this world, have shown their favor of me. I will not fail.
We've spoken enough about your father and his kin.
Now you know why I lay claim to this kingdom. I am well within my rights.
I don't believe any of this. You offer no proof besides your word.
She may be telling a part of the truth, not the whole.
They need not be killed, my lady. We could offer exile, or...
Not to the Legion. No. I have heard the voices of my mother's lost gods. On this day, they will grant me victory over you and the Pretender Queen. This parlay is finished. Remain here, and you will be slain. Try to run, and I will hunt you down. We shall not speak again.
Wait, no weapons. We've come to talk, not to fight.
Quickly, Rajani. We shouldn't be here.
Jeyne doesn't know you're here, does she?
We only speak for ourselves, not for Our Lady.
Jeyne is first among our sisters, like her mother before her. We don't want to betray her, but...
Jeyne has lost her way. She talks of visions and dreams. A great tree, carrion birds. She claims to hear the voices of our lost gods in her mind, and that proves she is mad.
What gods do you mean?
The creator gods, who we served long ago, or so we have always believed. We have no memories of them, Only stories that we tell, and faith that they are true.
Jeyne commands the Azunite Church, but she worships these creator gods in secret?
She claims to be faithful to Azunai, so that her followers won't abandon her. And she doesn't deny that he is real. But her true faith, her secret faith, has always been to our gods, to the gods of her mother.
Maybe she is hearing the voices of your gods.
Our gods are dead, tumbled from the heavens and gone. We sought them long, across 1,000 divine realms, and never found a trace.
Not true, sister. Jeyne's mother claimed to have discovered a remnant, a forgotten seed of the first creation, the handiwork of our gods. But none of us ever saw.
What kind of seed do you mean?
She never told us the form it took, only that she could sense the power that shaped the world, still alive and potent within.
So what do you propose?
You spared my life in Raven's Rill, and when you spoke to Jeyne in Glitterdelph, you weren't the monster that she said you'd be. I don't want to see my sisters destroyed in Jeyne's pointless war. Too few of us are left. We ask for your mercy, for our sisters and for Jeyne herself. In return, we'll grant you whatever aid we can.
I want to know more about you, before I decide.
Quickly then, before someone sees us.
If you've lost confidence in Jeyne, why follow her at all? Choose a new leader.
Leadership is no matter of choice, not for us. We are bound to Jeyne, just as we were bound to her mother.
The first sister burns brightest of all. Her fire sustains us. Snuff her out, and we would all begin to fade.
Jeyne's mother was first sister? What happened to her?
She died. At the moment Jeyne was born, her fire was passed to her daughter, and her body became an empty shell. The faces of mother and daughter may be different, but the divine spark, the fire that sustains them, that is the same.
Can you tell me who you are? Where you came from?
Your people call us Archons, but we have no such name for ourselves. We're just sisters, as we've always been. Our only history comes from myths and legends. They say that we served the creator gods before they tumbled to Earth. We have no memory of that time. Our first awareness came with a sense of terrible loss, but we cannot remember what came before.
A strange way to begin your lives. What did you do?
We wandered the divine realms to tell the truth, I have no way to know. Always searching for some trace of our fallen gods. We had no purpose. Many of our sisters were lost in those years. They wandered off, confused, or their fires guttered out. Jeyne's mother led us here. She claimed to have found some remnant of the first creation, but she only saw it twice. And we never saw it at all.
You'd help me defeat your own sisters? How?
We can withdraw from the battle for a start. Of all Jeyne's handmaids, we are ranked first, and she relies upon us to guide the others.
And we can tell you what lies ahead. The spire is a death trap for the unwary, and finding Jeyne is not so simple as passing through a door or climbing a stair.
All right, I've made up my mind.
Jeyne is deluded and confused, yes, but please, don't judge all our sisters by her example alone.
I promised the Queen that I'd spare Jeyne's life. I'll try to spare your sisters, too.
So Jeyne was wrong about you after all. When Rajani told me, I didn't believe.
Beyond this gate is the Bailey Garden filled with soldiers. They're fanatics, loyal only to Jeyne. They think her a saint, and you'll never sway them. At the far side of the garden is a door, protected by a magical seal. Two of our sisters fashioned that seal from their own living fire. Now their lives are tied to the seal. To pass the door, you would need their consent, and that they'll never give. So you'll have to find them and kill them.
I thought you wanted me to spare your sisters' lives.
Those two, the ones who watch the gate, they're different. No one speaks of them. Not anymore.
The spell they wove has driven them mad. They don't even answer to their old names. We only know them as the Archon of Vengeance and the Archon of War.
And on the other side of the door?
The Chancel, a place of worship for the Zealots who call Jeyne their living saint. And above that, the Sanctum of Fire, where our sisters dwell.
And by zealots, you mean her soldiers and priests?
In the beginning, they were useful tools, nothing more. An army to protect her from the royal family. She didn't believe she was really a saint. But now, as I said, she's lost her way.
Will I find the two Archons in the Bailey Garden or somewhere else?
They can't venture far from the seal. Each of them lives in a tower on either side of the garden. We never go inside those towers. We never even go near them, so we can't say what you'll find.
Enough about the spire. I should be able to find my way.
As you wish. Can we tell you anything more?
You haven't told me where I'll find Jeyne.
No need. She'll find you.
She's somewhere in the spire, probably watching using our eyes as her own. She'll know that we've betrayed her.
Are there any hidden places? Secrets that Jeyne wouldn't want me to find?
The dungeon, underneath the Bailey Garden that lies just ahead. Jeyne keeps her most valuable prisoners there. Look for the stone centerpiece in the middle of the garden. The door to the dungeon is hidden in its base. But you can only open the door by stepping on a golden pressure plate, hidden in the corner of the garden.
You should leave this place. And stay away from our soldiers. They'll take you for enemies.
We know how to hide when we must. Wrapped in a cloak, we can pass as beggar maids, as long as we lower our eyes.
May our sisters forgive us for what we've done.
And here is the Legion. Their hands washed with innocent blood. 30 years, and nothing has changed.
A woman who calls herself a saint might have learned to forgive by now.
But the spiteful, selfish wench would not. Curious, no?
Do not seek to twist my words. I shall not suffer the treachery of the Legion. Not again. I say to you, lay down your arms. The days of your Legion are past and gone. When I faced the traitor Mont Baron, the gods of my mother struck him down. And they shall guide my hand against you now! The fires in this place give us strength, Legionnaire. My handmaids and I will burn you to dust. You have defeated my Archons, crushed my soldiers, defiled this most holy of places. No more. The gods of my mother stand with me, while you have nothing but the ghosts of your broken Legion.
If any of you pretend to piety, pray to your gods now.
I will not bow my head to you. Neither will I grovel or beg.
Give yourself up, and we'll treat you with respect.
You mistake me. I do not concede defeat to the Legion, so you need not offer terms. My gods have not abandoned me, not yet. They dance like shadows at the corner of my eye, and they whisper in my ear. I will go before the gods of my mother, appeal to them for aid, and call her fallen sisters back from death. And when I return, we shall drive you from this kingdom that is mine by right.
Where is Jeyne? Is she...
Vanished. She went to find her mother's gods, to appeal to them for help.
But they are long dead. Unless she means... The forest. The place you call the Mournweald. It grew from a seed of the first creation. Perhaps it contains an echo of our gods.
And this seed, could it take the form of a tree?
I don't know. None of us were able to enter the forest, except for Jeyne's mother, and Jeyne herself. But I suppose it would take an appropriate form. If it gave birth to a forest, it might appear as a tree, yes.
Are you saying that your gods aren't dead? A part of them lives on?
Any fragment of the first creation would contain all the power of our gods, and perhaps a remnant of their minds as well. They would only exist as a potential, a possibility, but even in such a reduced state, they would be strong.
So the visions that Jeyne sees, the voices that speak to her in her mind,
They might be real, not dreams born of madness at all. The souls of our gods may be speaking to her, guiding her. But Jeyne's purpose, to take this kingdom as her own, that is hers alone. Our gods would never have counseled her thus. Perhaps her mind is shaping them, more than they are shaping her.
she thinks she can restore the other Archons to life, with the help of her gods.
Our legends say that no Archon could ever truly die. Their fires could always be kindled again if our gods willed it so. If Jeyne restored them all to life, she would have an army behind her.
Just how many Archons were there when your gods were alive?
We counted ourselves as numerous as the stars in the sky. Indeed, the stars were fashioned in our honor, one for each of our sisters. Or so the stories tell us.
We've got to follow Jeyne. How can we get to the Mornwheel from here?
Jeyne built this place on the ruin of a Legion stronghold. I've seen one of your causeways in the dungeon below. The gate was hidden behind a locked door, but Jeyne entrusted her handmaids with a key. I have it here.
I tried not to harm the other Archons, but I couldn't be sure they survived.
Thank you. They are alive, all of them. Soraya is with them now. I know my sisters. They'll see Jeyne's defeat as a sign that she led us astray. None of us will follow her again.
Now that Jeyne has fled, where will you and your sisters go?
We'll wait here for news. You cannot blame us if we hope that Jeyne might still be saved.
Martin, what about our army? Has the battle ended?
We've won, but only thanks to you. A few of Jeyne's people surrendered. The others all fled.
You're too humble, Martin. I didn't win your battle for you.
No, I don't mean to be modest. We held our own, but we'd never have swept them off the field. When the fire burst from the top of the tower, the fighting nearly stopped, with everyone straining to see. Then the fire went out, and Jeyne's army knew that she'd lost. They ran like autumn leaves before a storm.
Can we take the elevator down to the dungeon?
Yes. No need to stop in the chancel. It will take you all the way to the dungeon below.
I'm with you. Let's go and see if this causeway is still intact.
Check out this.
So you followed me here. You are stubborn. And I admire you for that. But you should never have come. I have restored the Archons to life. Just as I promised.
All this for what? To win a crown?
Yes. To take back this kingdom, as is my right. The Archons are not all that has returned. The power of creation still lives in this grove, and anything can be born anew. Even the creator gods themselves.
Something is taking shape. There, in front of the tree.
The voices of my mother's gods. I cannot hear them anymore. Not even a whisper.
They are lost. You will not see them or hear them ever again.
You lie, child. Or whatever you truly are behind that innocent face.
No, Jeyne Cassinder. I speak the truth. What remained of your mother's gods has been destroyed, and the power of creation has fled this grove. It will never return.
You told me that this forest grew from a seed of the first creation. Is it dead then?
That cannot be. My mother searched for thousands of years, and this was the only remnant of her gods that she ever found.
The power in this forest might have been used to restore the old gods and all their servants to life. Not the twisted half-life that you gave them, Jeyne Cassinder. A true rebirth, as they were at the dawn of the world. But you called upon that power to destroy, not to create. You twisted the power of creation to your own ends, until all that was left was an empty shell, rotted from within. And now, it is gone.
And the Archons I fought in the forest? The ones that Jeyne restored to life?
Dead, wilted like blossoms, and scattered to the wind. When you slew the reborn god, all Jeyne's creations were undone. In time, the forest will recover. But it will be ordinary, no longer the Morn wield, with the power of creation at its heart.
Why did this power respond to Jeyne and no one else?
Jeyne's mother was first sister. When she died, her fire, the first sister stood at that, and that is why Jeyne could unlock the power that was buried.
The forest was already corrupted. Even...
The first she knew. After that, the Mornwield grew rotten and sick. All its potential for good was lost.
So she came back, and made the same mistake a second time.
Yes, driven by anger again. So the Archons that she called back to life were nothing but monsters. It was the same for the Creator God. The creature that you fought was shaped by Jeyne's fury and guilt.
Guilt?
Yes, Jeyne Cassinder. You can hide your remorse from yourself, but you cannot hide it from me.
We have a decision to make. What to do with Jeyne.
Think of all the people who call this woman a saint. Do you truly want her blood on your hands?
I expect no mercy from the Legion. Do as you like.
Before I pass judgment on you, I want to know why you acted as you did. Honestly, and in your own words.
Why did I murder your father? That is what you want to hear, is it not? I was young, full of anger. My own father was dead by the Legion's hand. So I raised an army. I swore to avenge him myself, if I had to carve my way through every chapter house in Ebb. If the other Legionnaires had handed over Mont Baron, I would never have hunted them down. But they were so stubborn, so loyal to their chief. That was wrong of me. I should not have punished the whole Legion for Mont Baron's sin.
You're sorry for killing the Legionnaires, but not for killing my father.
I take no pride in the pain I caused you. But I am not sorry for the death of Hugh Mont Baron. No, I would kill him again. He murdered my father, and I don't care what his reasons were. You asked for honesty. There you have it.
You've told me why you destroyed the Legion, but why fight a war with the Queen?
I will answer your question with one of my own. Do you believe that Rosalind would make a stronger queen than me? My father was a king, my mother a chief among her people and chosen of her gods. I have made mistakes, yes, but I know how to lead. And Rosalind, she has the heart of a lamb. Would you trust the rebuilding of this kingdom to a sheltered little girl?
If Rosalind falters, the Legion will keep the country whole.
Be careful. I hear the echo of Hugh Montbaron behind those words. Take too strong a hand, and the people will cast your legion down again.
The Mornwheel was sacred to your people, and especially to your mother. Why would you confront the Legion here?
Montbaron lured me to this place. Somehow, he knew what I was. And he knew that this forest was sacred to me. He believed that I would never dare to strike him down. Not in the presence of my mother's gods.
He was wrong. You used the power of the Mornwheel against him.
Montbaron was so arrogant. So sure that he'd outmaneuvered me. That smug look on his face, with no hint of remorse for what he'd done. That was what doomed him, most of all. I will never understand why the forest allowed him to enter, when so many others were kept out.
Unless your gods meant to test you, perhaps they wanted to know if your devotion to them was stronger than your rage.
I never thought of that. If that is true, then I failed them.
I have no more questions. I've made my decision.
And I am ready for your judgment, though I know what it will be.
No, you won't die today. I promised Rosalind that I'd spare your life.
Little Queen Mouse. I owe my life to that cringing girl. That is a fine irony. Am I to be your prisoner, then? Paraded through the streets in a gilded cage?
Atone for all the suffering you've caused. Help us to rebuild the kingdom.
You are not the Legion I remember. They were arrogant, and they would never have proposed such a thing. Very well. You have my promise. I will use what influence I have to help you heal this country. Let the war between us end.
By those words, Jeyne Cassinder, you are bound to the Legion now.
It's over then.
For now, you deserve a rest. But it may be short-lived.
We need to build our strength and train more Legionnaires.
You will find many willing to join the Legion now. Even a few who might surprise you. And you will need them soon. The country is still divided, and the Legion has many old enemies who yet live. But you've shown yourself to be fair, as well as strong. Whatever happens, the people of Ebb will stand behind you.
We should leave this place, no? Our future lies far from here.
We part ways then. I will be watching, and one day, I will see you again.
You bid farewell to the Radiant Youth, and he sent you back to our chapter house in Stonebridge, where I awaited your return. In the weeks that followed, news spread of Jeyne Cassinder's defeat. Her army scattered, giving us time to rest and regroup. Martin Guiscard returned safely from the Spire, along with Meister Wolf and the Automaton army. Only a few weeks later, elections were held in Stonebridge. Meister Wolf, who had been so public in his support of the Legion, almost won the office of mayor. But he was defeated in the end. Many people had wanted the dapper old gent to hang. They resented the fact that the Legion had spared his life, and they blamed poor Wolf. The Guild of Ironmongers became more profitable than ever, thanks to the harsh terms of servitude imposed upon the Cyclops workers in the foundry. By all accounts, Meister Kessel became the richest man in the city, but he did not forget his debt to us. His guild donated fine suits of armor, blades, and guns to the Legion, enough to equip an army when we finally replenish our ranks. Archambault du Payen, formerly known as the Dapper Old Gent, proved a valuable addition to the Legion. His knowledge of Legion magic allowed us to retake control of the Sentinels that had long guarded our chapter houses and estates. But the Gent couldn't leave our chapter house without drawing an angry mob his confinement started to drive him mad. So he returned to his beloved causeways, beneath an endless sky, and he dwells there still. The following winter was a harsh one in the Rukenval, just as Lazar Basili feared. Without any trade from the south, the people of Raven's Rill went hungry, and many died. Among them were the widow Ludmilla, and Lazar's friend and scribe Grigori. When spring came, the dead were mourned, and Lazar's people did their best to carry on. Rajani and her sisters returned to Stonebridge, quietly and carefully disguised. Jeyne Cassinder's defeat affected them deeply, though not in the way I expected. Their devotion to Jeyne was replaced by a deep admiration for your companion, Anjali. I think they saw in Anjali the leader they should have followed all along, and they have lately expressed a desire to join our ranks. I maintain my suspicion of any Archon who once followed Jeyne, but I believe that redemption is not impossible, even for them. Jeyne Cassinder was as good as her word, though I had my doubts at first. She returned to the cities and towns of the East and urged the people to end their war with the Legion and the Crown. Jeyne's repentance was heartfelt, and many were swayed by her words. But others have not been so compliant. The Church Synod in Bisselberg, who once called Jeyne a saint, have declared her apostate and threatened her life. Though Jeyne refuses bodyguards of any kind, Queen Rosalind fears for her life. And if anything befalls her, our gains in the East may yet be lost.